Hi, ladies and gentlemen. For this week's, the second part of this week's independent work, you are going to practice with the first two parts of our RAFFT graphic organizer that we use to help us write a paragraph. So we're just going to start by reviewing the why. Why do we use RAFFT? When is this something that we would use in our writing? So the first thing is anytime you're given a prompt or a question that asks you to write your answer in a paragraph is an instance when you would use RAFFT for any class, whether it be social studies or science or one of your special area classes. Anytime you're asked to respond to a question in a paragraph form would be an instance where you could use our RAFFT outline. And the reason for that is because it helps us to make sure that we've included all the parts of a paragraph, that we haven't left anything out, and that we've included evidence to support our ideas, and we've been clear with what we want. So this week, we just want to review the first two steps, because last week in our independent work, when we wrote a full paragraph, it seemed that we needed a little extra practice with just the small pieces. So let's first look at and remind ourselves of what the first step is. R in RAFFT stands for reel in the reader, which is our hook sentence. This is the first sentence in our paragraph, and the purpose here is to grab the reader's attention. We want them to be interested in the rest of our writing. We want them to be interested in reading more. You can see also over here are lots of different techniques that we can use to hook our reader. You might start with a narrative where you describe a scene. You might start with something that speaks right to the reader. You might start with some kind of a strong, bold statement that grabs their attention. You might ask a question. You might give some kind of a fact or a statistic that you know of that connects to the topic. Let's look at an example of what this means. So here's an example question that says, should all students be required to volunteer in the community? So I need to write a sentence that will hook my reader, make them want to keep reading, that is connected to the question, right? So the topic of the question is volunteering, right? That's what the question's about. So I need to write a sentence that is about volunteers and volunteering in communities that will grab the reader's attention. So I chose to use that strong statement technique, and I wrote, volunteers are an essential part of any community. It is important for people to help and support each other. That introduces the topic, and I've used one of those techniques to try to hook my reader, okay? So the next part is answer the question. This is the second sentence in the paragraph, and it is a clear, focused answer to the question. And this is really important because last week in our independent work, some of us in that, I read your A sentence and you didn't answer the question. You wrote a really lovely sentence, but I wasn't clear as to how it connected to the answer. So it needs to be just one sentence and gives your answer. There's no need for an explanation here. So let me show you what that might look like. If I look here at the same sentence, the same question that I had, should all students be required to volunteer in the community? Here's my hook sentence. Volunteers are an essential part of any community. It is important for people to help and support each other. So now this is where I make it clear. This is really a yes or no question. Yes, should they be required to volunteer, or no? All students should be required to volunteer in the community, period. Right? I don't need to say why. I don't need to say anything else about this because that's going to be for later in my paragraph. I just need to hook the reader and give them my answer. So this week, that's all we're going to practice with. I want you to be able to show me that you can write a hook sentence that focuses on the topic, the overall topic of the question, and then clearly give me a one sentence answer. So you're going to see 3 slides that look just like this. What's different in each of the slides is that the question is different. So in your opinion, is it important for people to study history? Why or why not? So here, you're going to give me a hook sentence about the topic of this question. The topic of the question is studying history, right? So give me some hook sentence about history and learning about history. And then here, you're going to say yes or no. Yes, it is important for people to study history, or no, it is not important for people to study history. Very clearly there. The next question, what animal do you think best represents your personality? So here your hook sentence might be something about personalities or different things that represent our personality, or maybe something about animals. And then here, you're going to give me your direct answer. The animal that best represents my personality is a lion, whatever, right? And again, it says why. We're not answering why yet here. That's for later in our writing. Question 3, would you rather have lots of money or lots of friends? So you might say something about, in your hook sentence, something about friends or money or what's important to people. And then here you're going to say, I would rather have blank, either lots of money or lots of friends. And again, that's it. You're not saying why here. It's a one sentence, clear answer. So you're going to make sure that, one, you've watched this whole Loom video and you've listened to all the directions. You've reviewed the resources on the R and A steps of our organizer. You've looked at my examples that are embedded in there, and you've written your real and the reader sentence and answer the question sentence for all 3 questions. And if you've done all of those things and you've responded, you've typed answers in slides 7, 8, and 9, you can go back to Google Classroom and turn this assignment in. If you have any questions, send me an email and I'd be more than happy to help. Good luck.